Liat seeks an injunction to get protesting pilots back to work. And in sport, Trinidad and Tobago lose to the United States. This is the Caribbean in 10, and I'm Nicole Best. Stay with us. We'll have the news after this break.
The Sajiko Cahill School of Business and Management invites you to attend Navigating a Path to Growth, a risk and competitive intelligence conference at Hilton Barbados Resort on June 26th and 27th, 2017. Speakers include Global Strategy and Risk expert Dr. Andrea Schotter, Regional PwC Risk Assurance Leader Bruce Scott, Ms. Lisa Padmore, Dr. Delisle Worrell, Mr. Ian D'Souza, Professor Patrick Hossain, Professor Gillian Marcel, and many others. For more information, call 246-424-7731 or visit www.uwichsb.org. Secure your space today.
The Jonkonu's fife, the rhythm of the drum, the strum of the pan, the lilt of the voice from island to mainland. All pigments and tones, old and young, his and hers, all we are one. You, we, me. This is UWI TV.
Liat seeks an injunction to get protesting pilots back to work. Observer newspaper reported today that the airline has filed an application for an injunction before the industrial court in a move aimed at getting the pilots back on the job. The pilots have refused to fly ATR 72 aircraft that were acquired by the airline in 2013 as a part of the company's restructuring plans aimed at fleet modernization and network improvements. The Leeward Islands Airline Pilots Association, in a letter to airlines, said it is not convinced it should subject its members to further exposure and responsibility without the agreed compensation, noting that flying the ATR 72s gives them increased responsibility in terms of passengers and payload. The pilots union said its members will not fly the planes until the company honors a salary package agreed to in January. Pilots began their industrial action on Wednesday, and Liat's corporate communications manager, Shavar Maloney, has warned that more disruption is expected today. The Antigua government has appealed to the pilots to immediately resume their duties, saying the strike could ultimately harm the Caribbean and undermine the probabilities of attracting more governments to share the burden of financing Liat. 2 months after an alleged plot to assassinate Guyana's President David Granger was uncovered, a police investigation is still underway, and that's according to Minister of State Joseph Harmon, who says security remains a top priority while the police probe continues.
The police investigation continues. In fact, what they're looking at now are what they call backward linkages. And I can say to you that it is still a live investigation by the Guyana Police Force, and there have been some other what I would call subsidiary investigations that are taking place, and some others that will be taking place along the way.
Although some sections of the media reported that the plot may be a hoax, Mr. Harmon said the threat, especially to the head of state, must not be taken lightly.
And we do not take a threat to the life of His Excellency very lightly, and therefore every area of concern will be addressed. If they are not a matter of the police investigation, they will be the matter of other investigations which will take place.
Back in April, a businessman sat in the studios at HGP TV and related that he had been offered money by another businessman to shoot at the president just as he leaves his home. Since that time, the president's security detail was beefed up.
And that report was from Roydon James of HGP Nightly News. Over in Jamaica, there is an increase in suspected cases of leptospirosis in the parish of Portland. Reports indicate there has been a jump in the number of clinically diagnosed cases of the disease. But the medical health officer for the parish says they are being hampered in their quest to confirm the exact number of cases.
We're having a challenge with getting samples tested at the National Public Health Laboratory because of some challenges there, but the ministry has been working on it, and so we are hoping that soon we will have that matter sorted.
Dr. Lewis would not confirm reports that several prisoners at the Port Antonio lockup had contracted the disease.
What we can say, we are aware that there are concerns. We are doing the necessary investigations and the necessary interventions. I think that is as much as I can say at this point.
The United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says without treatment, leptospirosis can lead to kidney damage, meningitis, liver failure, respiratory distress, and even death.
And we thank TVJ for that report. Stay with us. Your Midday Sport is next.
Are you ready? Are you ready now? Hey, St. Kitts, are you ready? Yeah. St. Kitts on Nevis, Wagwan. Hey, tell me now, are you ready for some rockers music?
I love the song for the people. Heritage of the St. Kitts people.
Individual errors have been blamed for TNT's 2-0 defeat to the United States as World Cup qualifying action continued last night at Dick's Sporting Ground in Denver, Colorado. The Soca Warriors had some close calls to open the score, but striker Kenwin Jones' header in the first half hit the crossbar and a Nathan Lewis strike was ruled a close offside. The visiting Caribbean side managed to hold off CONCACAF giants, the U.S., in the first half, but they couldn't hold for long, and American attacking midfielder Christian Pulisic placed 2 in the back of the net in the 52nd minute and then 10 minutes later for the United States. After the match, head coach Dennis Lawrence said the Warriors lost their way during the second half.
I felt the game was a very close game. There was hardly any difference between the both teams, especially the first half of the game. I think the altitude affected the tempo of the game for the both teams were struggling with it. But our individual errors is probably what cost us in possession, giving the ball away unnecessarily, which we left ourselves exposed. The US took advantage of it. Our keeper had to make a couple of saves every now and again, which obviously is there for. But I felt all in all, the boys probably didn't deserve that. But we have to think about next game now. First question.
TNT now sit on 3 points, while the United States has earned 7 points from 5 matches. West Indies will be hoping to avoid any embarrassing hiccups and impose their obvious superiority on Minnows Afghanistan when the two teams meet in the opening day-night one-day international of the 3-match series in St. Lucia tomorrow. The one-day side will be heavily favored to extend their success in the recently ended T20 International to the 3 contests at the Darren Sammy National Stadium. Captain Jason Holder was quick to reiterate the importance of the tour, urging his players to be at their best and to ensure a series win. That's the Caribbean in 10. Join us later at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Have yourselves a good afternoon.